Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we've got set 75365, the Yavin 4 Rebel base, with a grand total of quite a few minifigures, which I think is a very good aspect to the set. 1,066 pieces, which makes it pretty sizable. I think the best comparison that we can draw to this set is actually the Darth Vader's castle. However, are these side extensions really worth the extra $40 that you have to put into the set? Let's find out. Now, minifigure-wise, we get the general cast of characters, with Luke and Han Solo having their respective medals, which look absolutely fantastic. The extra benefit is that we get one as extra, so always great to see. We get a Rebel Trooper and also a Rebel Technician. General Dodonna's here, as well as Red and Gold Leader, which is a fantastic sight. And then also this Chrome little friend here. Not actual Chrome, but still a little bit of a nice change compared to just getting R2-D2 as our one and only astromech droid. Now, I think they did a really good job with this Ywing. Now, granted, I have taken off the little spring-loaded shooters, which would typically sit here, but I feel like they really bulk in the build, so I just took them off to kind of give it a little bit of a more Y-wing design that doesn't really have those protrusions. I think that the little rotating turret is a very nice rendition. It doesn't really take too much away because of its size. It still does the job, still swivels, doesn't interfere with you trying to take out the cockpit, assuming that it's facing backward, which gives you just enough space to put one minifigure in with a nice little control panel that's ready to take down the Death Star. The streamlined design looks really nice, especially using a little bit of this sea blue color, which I think really adds. I think they did a great job doing the little exposed thruster region here and really made it so that you really get the Y-wing details without making it too large, so it fits in line with the same scale that we saw with Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, so it can fit seamlessly in through the little garage door. Well, I don't know if it's really a garage door, but hangar door, so that when you need to lift it up, you can still budge it out a little bit so that you can reach out and fly away. The also other benefit is that the astromech droid doesn't sit too far out from where the turret is. It would be nice if it was situated a little bit lower, like we do see with some of the other models, but there isn't too much space, so I can forgive them for that, and I think they still did a fantastic job with this Y-wing. And of course, we've got the little ladder here, so that you can walk whoever you need. Probably not the astromech droid, though. We do get a singular utility feature, and I kind of didn't realize this was in the set until I'm on bag 11, and it's like, yeah, we have this thing here. But I think it looks really nice. I think the green really adds a nice flair. It gives you a little bit of storage. If I open up the back to just put a few things, I put the little lights in there, and I think just having a place to put them without having to have it just fly off somewhere. You can, of course, just put the ladder up here as well. If you need to transport one of your astromech droids, you can, of course, put it on the cart. If General Dodonna needs to get around and doesn't really want to walk, you can put your minifigure on there and you can transport. The other benefit is that if you want to put one of your physical Rebel troopers on there, or Rebel Technician, they actually fit and the helmet doesn't get in the way, which feels like a no-brainer for something like this, but it's really nice that it works and it functions that way. Externally, I think the building looks very nice. It contrasts a little bit from what you'd see from Darth Vader's castle, but I think it still showcases roughly the same kind of grandeur and aesthetic. We do have the hangar, which is fully open, which I think might be a little bit of a downside for some people, but if you do have your Y-wing rested in there, I think it still just gives you a little bit of that grandeur from the actual hangar itself. Like, there's a lot of depth to it. The turrets here swivel because of a Technic beam that kind of supports them, which is nice, so you get a little bit of consistency here, and you don't have to worry about them being both misaligned, which I think is a nice feature. And then there's this nice curvature that leads up to the top where you have a little bit of greenery, and I think the splash of greenery all around here makes it feel a lot more like a ruin, like you would see in the movies. I feel like the only thing that I really disagree with is this little patch of greenery on the side. It just kind of feels a bit redundant since it's not really all that much, and it would be much better if it actually was flush with the building, but it kind of just jets out a little bit, which I think is a little bit of a downside. But I do think that the actual scout post where you can indeed put your rebel trooper in. They have a little bit of a support harness up there. I think this is nice. You can also twist it down due to the mechanism on the inside so that it lifts down and is a little bit more level. So there is some safety. I wouldn't call it much safety though, as if we turn it around. It's just this one beam that can be extended and locked into the side. Otherwise, you drop it down and your rebel troopers down. If they slightly nudge forward or backwards, they are going to fall. Now, interior-wise, starting from the top, we actually do have a radar dish which can be taken in and out of the building because it's not attached by any plates. It just hangs there, which I think is quite nice because it allows you to either have a portable radar dish that you can do something with, or a spot that you can put your own creation or just dangle something. So, for instance, if you want to just have a vampire Wookiee that hangs from the rafters, you can do that, which is absolutely fantastic. The stage is a little bit underwhelming, but it gives you enough space to put quite a few minifigures. It won't be the same grandeur and entrance that you would have in the movie, but it's still nice to have a little bit of something and just an extra space that you can do some planning or anything that you could really want. So I think that room up here, just very good utilization of space. Underneath it, we have this little control room for the two turrets. As mentioned before, you can have a minifigure hold on to this swivel as you want. There is a sticker in here that gives you a little bit of a direct relay control panel. Granted, it is in the middle, which means that it's not really helping you unless there's like a physical camera on top of these turrets to kind of help you aim. But there is this little crate here. Doesn't have anything in it right now, but it is some extra life storage that you could put anything if you wanted to. If we move over to our left, we have the Rebel insignia, which is a sticker with another sticker of the trench run here so that you can plan out where the port is to put your bombs in. We do have another panel here that's going to register a few things. Might be for this water dispensary machine here with one of these glass panels here with a large sticker to kind of give you the space mapping, which is quite nice. I do enjoy that sticker. I would be cautious putting it on though because it is one of the clear ones, so it can smudge quite easily. But we do have 3 seats, again with this nice sea blue, very enjoyable color. And underneath we have a little bit of a storage area. Main function is just like, do you want to stand here or do you want to grab one of these 2 weapons? Nothing too crazy, but we do have a ladder so that you can get upstairs, and also just that you can open this panel as well so you get better access. Not the craziest room, but it's still nice to have a little bit of floor space to put your minifigures in. If we move up this ladder, going here, we do have a little bit of a mapping dish which showcases the movement of the Death Star, and also another one of those panels to kind of check up on how the building is doing, with just some spots here to sit and look at stuff. I think this is the most underwhelming section of the entire building. Granted, this exists, which I did forget to mention that this is kind of just the exterior hangar, just has a little sticker to showcase the repairs needed for the Y-Wing. But yeah, I would say this is definitely the most underwhelming section because at least underneath it, we have a little bit of a storage utility which has another core for your Y-Wing, and then some thermal detonators. Over on this wall, there is nothing, but, you know, you can put some extra weapons because there are the clips, and you can also attach the little greenery like mentioned before. But I think everything here is quite spacious. I think the only issue that you might have is trying to put your hand in here fully and try to do some stuff. But the rest of the space is quite spacious and actually gives you a large amount of spots just to put minifigures, do whatever you need, really plan out Rebel Invasion, which I think is very nice. Granted, you don't really have that much hangar space for more than one vehicle, but the Rebels did use the outside as more of a landing pad as well. So you can use this as a nice little mechanics bay and just have all your other ships out in the front. Probably not in this Viking scene or over here, which just has a bunch of buildings, but just out front, you do get a good amount of space, assuming that you have a table to put it on. So you might have as much or as little space as you truly can get. But I do think that there's a good chunk of value in getting this. Now, some might disagree that, well, like a lot of the $170 sets, there's a bit of questionality to the value. But I do think that Yavin 4 actually does a lot of good compared to what we saw last time. So I would say this is actually a pretty good pickup if you need a good chunk of just Rebel utility because you're a fan of the sixth movie. Then I would say this is a. I don't know why I said six. That wouldn't make any sense. But I would say this has a lot of good value. It has a lot of good utility as both a playset and display set, because from the back you have a lot of different rooms that you could play around with, interact with a bunch of different storytelling. Or externally, if we flip it back around, you have something that looks quite impressive, is a little bit more earthy, which does help compared to all the grays, splashes of white, but then we have more grays and more blacks. So I think it does a lot to just kind of give you a different sense of color than what we're used to. So I would say, if you're in the market, this is not that bad of a pickup. Thank you for watching. I shall see you next time, and please avoid the rats. They're deadly, and they're quite scary.